Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives. It's time to get out your bird callers because this is Cuckoo. 17-year-old Gretchen leaves her American home to live with her father, who just moved to a resort in the German Alps with his new family. Arriving at their future residence, they are greeted by Mr. Koenig, her father's boss, who takes an inexplicable interest in Gretchen's mute half-sister Alma. Something seems very off about the resort, as she keeps experiencing horrifying noises and confusing visions, while seemingly being stalked by a human-like woman in a hood. Tillman Singer wrote and directed this, and he's a relative unknown. I believe this is his first major production, and honestly, did an amazing job. In particular scenes where the main character is riding her bike, or you see certain angles where the hooded woman shows up. Specifically, one or two scenes where you see just her silhouette, or you see her creeping into the angles. That is horror 101 that a lot of filmmakers do not appreciate, but it seems as though he actually gets it, and is really good at using it proper when it's necessary. Hunter Schafer carries this movie as Gretchen. Her uneasiness, her trying to play the fish out of water thing to such a great degree that it feels real. Because I also felt like her going, I feel like you're a sane person in a world of crazy. And it doesn't help that because she's a teenager, no one takes her seriously. That kind of a story can really be off-putting depending on who's acting, but Hunter Schafer hits it out of the park with Gretchen. She is such a good character in this. I honestly could kind of see a spin-off of this movie, or a sequel to this movie. Hopefully, maybe down the road. Who knows? Jessica Harwick plays the stepmother, Beth, and she at first goes from a mean, generic stepmother to, as the story progresses, a legit sympathetic, empathetic person. And it's a movie that I could see rewatching and going, oh, seeing it from the perspective, knowing what you know after the film, rewatching it going, oh. And that's a good aspect of how this movie works. Some of the questions are very much like, what's going on? What's going on? And a lot of it isn't given to you. And that's what makes it so good. You feel like you are also confused as hell. What is going on? And that does lead aspects into, well, maybe it could be this, or maybe it could be that, or maybe it could be this. You're only given just enough, but it creeps you out because you don't even know what's going on, really. Dan Stevens plays the evil scientist, and the real reason I wanted to see this movie was because of Dan Stevens. I really think that he is such an underrated, underappreciated, fantastic actor. And honestly, I would love to see him in more things. I first saw him in the movie The Guest. I've also seen him in so many other roles that I've just loved his work. I would love to see him in more and more stuff. He plays this evil, conniving scientist, but not in an over-the-top way. It's very, very subtle, but also practical in a way that you can see a person being like this. You can see a guy just taking advantage of people and saying, oh, okay. It reminded me a lot of a less intense Herbert West. And that whole isolation of the whole movie, pounded with the fact that his character feels like he's always watching you, like you're under a microscope, just adds to the level of tension going on with what's really happening under the surface. But a creature feature is only as good as the creature itself. And Callan Morrow, who plays the hooded woman, oof, she legit creeped me out. I would say her performance in this reminded me similar to characters in the Insidious franchise. She's got this otherworldly figure about her. When I first saw the still images of this movie, I thought she was like the Stilts woman from Junji Ito's horror manga. If you know, you know. And it just added such creep factor for me. I just really, really dug this movie. I feel like it's a movie that I will have to rewatch again. And I think it's a movie that has some aspects to it that you go, maybe this means this, maybe this means that. I feel it's a movie that works better with rewatches, and it is a great independent movie. It is a shame it flew so hard under the radar that very few people even talked about it, or even got any recognition for it, but it's definitely worth your time if you get a chance to check it out. Make sure to check out Happy the Knife's channel, link in the description down below, and have a happy Helldünkel!